So in today's video, we're going to take a look behind the scenes at a ECO4 ad account spending over £100,000 per month just on advertising spend. So we're going to run through exactly how we got them to this point and how to actually run and maintain a ad account at this level of spend. So as a bit of background on this particular client, we've been working with them for about a year now, and currently they spend about £100,000 a month and are getting very stable results that are still profitable for them. So as I'll get onto in a minute, just from our leads alone in August, they'll do 150 plus quality installations. And we've actually taken this client from spending £2,000 a month in their first month with us, all the way up to spending £100,000 a month now, about a year in. So usually with these success stories, all we really show people is the client interviews or the testimonials. But today we'll actually dive into what is needed to manage one of these accounts, how you yourself can actually get to this sort of spend and get these results. So jumping right into it, there's really sort of four main things that your company needs to run and manage a paid advertising campaign profitably. So the first one is a lead generation system. So that just basically means a way to get inquiries of a decent quality through. So whether that's Facebook, Google, door knocking, just a way of generating interest and inquiries. Secondly, is a way to predictably and efficiently convert those inquiries into actual surveys. So making sure you're filtering out the non-viable prospects, maximising your booking rates, and turning that initial inquiry into an actual survey. Third, which is kind of mainly taken care of by our clients, so points 1 and 2 we take care of. Point 3 is turning a survey into an actual install, so making sure that your operations, submissions, compliance, things like that are all taken care of. And then 4, as a little bit of a bonus one, is patience. So making sure that you aren't trying to chuck 100 grand at a advertising account straight away, and that you have a bit of patience to scale up with the correct foundations in place. So looking at point number 1, first of all, the actual lead generation. So for this client, we've worked with over 70 eco installers now and spent millions of pounds in advertising spend. So when they came on board with us, we already had a very good idea of what sort of adverts work, and what we were going to implement for them straight away. So there wasn't much of a learning period where we sort of worked out which creatives work or how ECO4 works. We just sort of plug and played what's worked for other installers straight into their business. But having said that, we aren't a set and forget type of agency. So once we have those initial winners, we are continually testing and trying to improve the results through new creatives. So essentially what that looks like is, first of all, we identify winners, not just on the one client account, but across all of our dozens of ECO4 clients that we have. So we monitor which sort of adverts are working, if there's any patterns amongst them. So for example, a particular theme or particular style of advert is doing particularly well. Once we do have those winners, we then analyse it very scientifically. So we look at what are the themes of the winners, is there anything that is common between them, and basically can we break it down and identify what it is that is making that advert perform particularly well. Once we do have a bit of a trend, we can then test more variations. So say, for example, we find that the call out of universal credit is working particularly well for our clients. We then sort of see how can we test more variations of calling out universal credit to see if we can improve the results even further. And then finally, when we do have those big winners, so the ones that are producing a lot of leads at a very low cost, we then work with the client to see how we can increase the spend and push more budget towards that direction. So this process is particularly important for a larger advertising spend. So as you can imagine, with this ad account spending £2,000 to £3,000 a day, they reach a lot of people very quickly. So it's very important that we are always putting new creatives in, keeping things fresh, and making sure that we don't see any spikes in that cost per lead. So that's the first part, actually generating the leads and the inquiries. The second part, and in my opinion the most important for ECO4 installers we work with, is the lead qualification process. So a lot of installers, including this one that we work with, run into the common issue when they run ads that they get tons and tons of leads, but they end up spending hours checking EPC ratings, chasing up boiler pictures for leads that might not even qualify. So we've got what we call a 3-step process for ensuring that our installers focus just on the viable leads. So the first one we have is a automated EPC checker. So essentially, any lead that inquires and puts their address in, it will automatically scrape the EPC register. If they have a B rated or a C rated property that you can't work with, it will eliminate them before you ever see them. Second thing we have is a eco-specific CRM. So it's pre-built with all the automations you'll need to capture documents, images, chase up leads. It has a power dialer. So basically, those leads that you do need to chase up for documents or pictures, it makes the whole process as efficient and seamless as possible. And then the third thing, and probably the most important thing that we offer, and probably our main selling point compared to a lot of other agencies out there, is we have a in-house call centre. So essentially, our call centre they're all UK based. They all come from ECO4 installers previously. Essentially, what they will do for the companies we work with is call a lead within minutes. They will then pre-qualify the lead, get all the pictures that they need, and only pass that lead across to the installer when they're actually ready for a survey. So essentially, that eliminates all the hours every day or week that you are currently spending checking EPCs and qualifying customers. We take that completely off your plate and manage all of your paid advertising, and literally only pass you the leads that are ready for survey. So this team works from 9 in the morning till 7 in the evening, Monday to Friday, as well as weekends. As I mentioned, they're UK based, eco experience, and they just take the results up to that next level for all the installers that we do work with. So that's the lead qualification part of things. Third thing I'll touch upon is the conversion of surveys into installs and how the installers actually handle the leads we pass them. So we carefully vet all the installers we work with to make sure they have the capacity, the experience and the customer service to actually benefit from our paid ads, because we've had it previously. We'll send installers a bunch of leads that qualify. They don't have the internal processes and systems in place, and it ends up just being a massive waste of money through no fault of the advertising campaign or the marketing. So just for an example, this installer in particular, they do over 150 ECO4 installs every single month, and they never have any issues with compliance, and their funder actually gives them additional funding because of how good the jobs they submit are. So it's really important that if you are going to run an advertising campaign, whether that's with us, another company, yourself, that you have your customer service and your lead handling systems in place before you go ahead and do that. And then the fourth thing that you kind of need to get up to a spend as high as 100,000 a month is patience. So as I mentioned, this installer in particular, they started with an advertising budget of £2,000 a month. So that was really month 1 and month 2. We were dialing in the process, making sure they were happy with results, using their feedback to improve things. And then as we got into sort of months 3 to 6, we then started scaling that incrementally. So what that means is every 1 to 2 weeks, we would increase the budget by 10%, monitor how that affected results on the front end and the back end. If everything was okay, we would then increase the budget again. Once we sort of were confident that everything was working as it should, the installer was doing plenty of installs, month 7 to 12, we then scaled quite aggressively. So I believe we went from a spend of about 20 to 30,000 all the way up to £100,000 per month in the last month with us. And now we're at the point today where they've asked us to scale that to £200,000 per month as quickly as possible. So we'll continue the same process of incremental increases, monitoring results, and just making sure that as we increase things, results stay where they need to be. So if you do like what you've heard in this video and you think that your kind of business could benefit either from starting with paid ads if you've never tried it before, or if you're doing it currently but the results aren't quite where they need to be, you're running into issues, then we can almost certainly help out with your ECO4 advertising efforts. So as I mentioned, we work with over 70 installers, and we have a complete system from generating leads through to booking them in for survey. And we also have money back guarantees. So if you come on board with us, don't get any installs, then we actually offer refunds. And in addition to that as well, we provide comprehensive training for your in-house teams. So when you come on board with us, as well as all the actual lead generation, you get access to a full training program that covers everything from telesales to getting more referrals through organic marketing, through to actually how to think like a marketer and salesman. So anything that you would need to actually process and handle the leads and get the most out of working with us is covered in this training program, which you and your team can access just as part of coming on board with us. So if you are ready to take your business to that next level, you're interested in working with us, you can find a link in the description to go and find out more information about what we do. And hopefully you'll be our next testimonial like this, doing 120 installs just from our ads.